Hello everyone, Rare Mod Reviews here, and today we'll be reviewing the SH Figuarts Cell First form. So this actually isn't a P-Band release, it's a standard release, although this thing is still pretty expensive at $70. And I've already did the unboxing of this thing, so I decided, you know what, let's just go ahead and bang out a review of this thing real quick, especially because I haven't done a review in some time. I'm afraid to say when. But getting on into it, we're going to go ahead and turn this off here and take a look at this guy. So this guy is fairly complex. He's got a lot of moving parts to him, but going from the head down, the head can do a exorcist style 360. Below the neck has a little bit of movement, some up and down at the top of the neck for the head, as well as a little bit of downwards there, make him look sad. Or if you want to do like a flying pose, you can look forward a decent bit there. Ooh, this thing needs to focus. There we go. At the shoulder, it could pop up at that joint there. A bit of a side-to-side movement. The shoulder itself is like it looks like some sort of ball joint or something, so it can move down a little bit there, pop out as well. A bit of a hinge, so not bad. Arm, of course, can go 360. Has a little bit of movement under the shoulder as well, so that can go 360. A little bit of a wiggle there, but I think that's more so like a looseness of a part. No additional movement at the elbow here. It just can bend at 2 points at the top here and at the bottom there, so decent. Arms like on a bit of a ball joint type thing there, so go up and down. Hand can swivel around it. It looks like you can move the arm separately from this ball joint as well, so it's like a wide range of articulation you can get at the hand, so very good there. Now getting down to the body, under his pecs here, slightly move forward and back, maybe a little bit of a wiggle. I guess you could say above the hips or at the abdomen. Yeah, I guess that's abdomen. Get a nice ab crunch there going. Move up slightly, but it's more so the down bend there. He cannot do a split. He maybe would if it wasn't for his hips being so wide or whatever. Not much forward movement, so all right. I guess you can spin it up kind of like that, so it's decent. Go 360. Knee similar bend to the shoulder. It moves at 2 points there. Can't move it side to side at all. Nothing, of course, with the calf. Down by the ankles there. 360, bit of an up and down, but fortunately this ball joint here really likes to pop out, so you got to really be careful with that, otherwise it'll come out. A little bit of wiggle. Now he has the wings. The wings have a wide range of motion, and they're also very creaky. I need to spray some WD-40 in there or something. So pretty decent bend at the wings. Kind of wiggle side to side, but overall, when it comes to moving these wings around, got a good bit of movement to it. Now the tail is where things get really radical. It moves at multiple joints at this tail. It's like on a ball joint as well. So at the orange spot here, 360, move up and down, a little bit of side to side. It's a separate joint here. Again, it's on a ball joint, so you can move that side to side, 360. Only problem with this thing having so much movement, as you can see here, there's like a little black line on the bottom of the tail. It looks kind of silly for you to move it outside of that point there. But of course, you still can do it. Another ball joint at the end of the tail here. Allows it to spin, wiggle, and all that. And then there's another joint here at the point of the tail. Again, same thing, spin around, up and down. And then the actual stinger itself, you can't articulate that at all. So again, not bad articulation at all. A lot of moving parts here with him. But overall, I can definitely say you will certainly be able to get some nice poses on this guy. Also say he's very detailed. I'd say it looks like he popped straight out of the screen with his looks alone. So no complaints no complaints at all when it comes to looks for this guy, for sure. Now, the one complaint I can say about him straight off the bat is the fact that he kind of has trouble standing. Thankfully, he has his tail to prop him up. But if you're trying to have him actually stand up without his tail or whatever, you may run into some issues there. You kind of have him propped up in this like weird pose like this. You can get him to stand, you know, kind of balancing him out, but having him straight forward, even though he's got these kind of wide, flat feet, you see him kind of wanting to lean back a little bit. And again, you can't get him to stand, but you have to kind of offset him in a bit of like a staggered pose or get him really wide like you see here. But again, not the end of the world. Especially as, again, you do have his tail to kind of help prop him up. So besides that, we're going to go ahead and get to the accessories he comes with. So let's go ahead and cut to that. All right. So for accessories, it's just the standard bit you get from a whole bunch of Figuarts stuff. So you're going to have a variety of faces. This one I think is a little stupid, but you have like another faceplate, which is supposed to be, I believe, for the screaming head. So I showed off in a bit here. I'll explain more why I think this is stupid. But now this is the thing that kind of gets me. Maybe you guys will be able to tell the difference better than I do. And just looking at him from here. But one's supposed to be like an open mouth. Other one's supposed to be him smiling. I'm like sitting here staring at them. Here, I'll put them side by side. I swear this one's looking off a little bit to like the left there. Besides that, it looks like the exact same face. I feel like they could have done something a bit more, I don't know, expressive or just something more, I don't know, different than this one. Like this, the standard one, and just one of the screams, okay, you'd be able to see the differences right away. But just these two alone, I don't see the difference at all. So moving on along, you of course have a variety of different hands. Have hands for like a ki blast, more specifically the Kamehameha. You have two outstretched hands. I don't know if it's supposed to be him doing a solar flare or what, but you have that. Maybe blocking a blast or something. And then you have like some grasping hands, so you can use that for like him strangling somebody. Maybe choking him and then stabbing him in his tail, absorbing energy. And these actually are supposed to already have been on Cell. These are just some fists. Oops. And again, these things are all super detailed. Like you can even see like his nails are painted black even in the fists. So very cool. And then finally, which I think is the coolest accessory, you have the one of the tail absorbing someone, well, rather one of the androids for his next transformation. So now that we went ahead and looked at everything, I'm going to grab Cell, and we're going to go ahead and see all this stuff on him. All right. So first up, I'm not going to go crazy putting all of them on. I'm just going to do a few of them here and there. But the process, of course, for putting the hands on is as simple as just taking out the old ones and popping in the new ones. And one thing I can say is these things go in very smooth. They come on and off very smooth. Doesn't feel like you really have to kind of force them off and whatnot. So I really enjoy that. As a lot of these Figuarts, you know, you pop his hands on and off, it feels like if you do this too much, suddenly eventually going to snap, or they're going to get a little too worn out, and, you know, they're not going to want to stay on or whatever when you take them off. So definitely give them some points there on that one. As well, I think these are the Kamehameha ones. Here these ones are. Nah, I think it's these. All right. I don't want to go crazy, but again, I tried all of these before I reviewed this thing, and I can say that they indeed do all, what's the word I'm looking for? Work. They all fit in. I believe it was what Android 19 is either the hands or the head. One of those they didn't fit on right. And I definitely did recommend that thing just because of that, because the hand's not coming on. It's very huge in my opinion. So I don't think I put that one on very well, but again, you get the gist here. So you could get a nice Kamehameha pose going with them. So again, very cool with the accessories that comes with them. You could definitely do some cool stuff with it. And then there's of course, like, let's say, has his hand attached to it, but you know, if you were to have, I think it's Gohan or Goku, one of them, you get like a nice Kamehameha effect going with this thing. You put it in there, so it definitely pays off that a few kits and whatnot, as it really just amplifies the poses you can do with this thing. So next up, we have faces. So I'm only going to do 2. I'm not going to do the second one of these. So the process to change up the faces is peeling that off there from the top. Take the face itself off. And then you go ahead and pop these things on in through the grooves. Reattach the head, and voila, now you have him smirking or whatever. And then again, for this one, you're supposed to use this one, but I'm going to show you right now why I think them having a second one was redundant. Only thing I can think of is maybe this one makes it a bit more flush, but I'll show it right now. Put this one on. Looks just fine to me. I don't see anything wrong. I'll pop it off. Put the other one on. And again, I mean, it all looks flush. Nothing looks funny to me. Stays orange just fine. Like, I don't understand why they gave a second one. It just feels like, I don't know, maybe it's something they noticed when they built this thing or whatever, prototyping it. But, you know, for me, it's no big deal. And all the adding an extra part to it, you know, with the faces looking the same and whatchamacallit, this extra part, I mean, this is just $5 to $10 they could have took off the price by just excluding it, because again, these 2 pieces aren't really worth having, in my opinion. But moving on, again, I'm not going to go crazy using all of the hands here. So I'm going to move on to our last accessory, and that's going to be the absorption tail piece or whatever. Now, unfortunately, I do not have any of the Android twins to really display this thing off with, but again, process, as you can see, was just me taking off the other piece of the tail and then putting this piece on. So now you have him being able to absorb the androids with his tail. Now, unfortunately, I've never been able to really get this thing in the right pose to where, you know, as in the show, usually he kind of had it going over his head, you know, like absorbing him like that or whatever. But I don't know, I just can never quite articulate to get in that pose. And then, of course, you start looking at the awkward way it bends, you know, the tail piece is not lined up, like that black piece is not lined up with the other black piece. And it just looks kind of crazy. So I have to look at an image of them showing this off online to get myself a better idea on how to do it. So right now, again, this is like the closest I can get. It just doesn't quite look right, you know. Like maybe if I kind of arch him forward like this, you know, I could kind of get him to do it, you know, something like this. I don't know. That's like the best I could really do again. So, yeah. And I eventually get an Android to put next to him and whatnot and review. Oh, see if I can get this right so I can kind of show off him absorbing the androids. But that's about it for a sale. So I'm, of course, going to end this off with like a couple of size comparisons. I don't want to go crazy. So I have 2 I'm going to compare him with. I'm actually going to see how he fits on the action base while I'm at it too. But we have a bigger figure. That's going to be Frieza's second form. So as you can see, I can stand him up a little better because they kind of prop down his tail. Frieza is quite a bit bigger than Cell, which says a lot because I think Cell's pretty tall as is. So for Frieza to be like a foot taller in his first form is definitely something. And then we're going to get, I'm pretty sure, a standard size. I don't think Trunks is short, but as you can see, Trunks is a good foot smaller than Cell. So it just goes to show how big Cell is and how enormous Frieza is in the second form. So, again, overall, even though this thing does have a bit of its flaws, honestly, it's a little generic-y outside the fact that he has a tail. I still recommend this thing, especially if you're a big fan of Cell. I personally love Cell's first 2 forms. I just really like his first form, how insect-like he looks and whatnot. And of course, I just loved how funny Cell sounded overall in the show. But what I was about to say, just with the tail alone, you can already get some nice poses. But they also, of course, have some decent accessories too and whatnot, so you can pull a lot of the scenes from the show off on him and whatnot. So again, I still think that's pretty cool. And again, enough for me to recommend buying him, even though he is a bit of on the pricey side. So maybe you might want to try to wait for some sort of sale, SELL, before you get him. But again, put him on this base here if I can. See how you'd even put it. There we go. A little bit on the heavy side, but I think you should still be able to fit them on it. So, yeah, not bad. So, again, thank you guys all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this review, you know exactly what to do. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Oh, boy. Unboxing or review. Thank you so much, guys.